How are we doing? And welcome to part 2 of the PC that we're doing. So hopefully some of you were here yesterday and we cracked on with some of the installation, some of the parts. So today we're actually going to put the water block and the fittings and start mapping out the actual loop itself. And this is the draft install, so nothing is fixed because everything's going to come out. So hopefully the sound is fine. So let's just check that, do a bit of housekeeping. Right, I'll pick up where we left off yesterday. Ah, good evening, Mr. Andrew. How are we doing? Oh, it's useful to have this here. Nice of you to join us. So, what I had delivered today, which I was expecting yesterday, was a mount for the actual pump. Now I got two. Got a flat one that I think will be the right decision to get a raised like that. As you can see that. So this is what we're going to use to mount it into the 120mm space in the radiator, and then we're going to mount the pump on it. So I'm going to do a trial fit. Move the camera down so you can actually see. So you're waiting for Red Dead Redemption 2 to install while I watch. Well, it's a big massive game, 2-disc, so it might take a while with your internet connection, fella. What have you been up to, Andrew? So as you can see, we're going to connect it either at the top like that, bring that down. Let's see how that goes. Take that off. And we can mount it. Well, thanks for letting me know. Well, I was actually quite surprised because I thought the quality on the test that I did on Tuesday, Richard kept saying, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, but yesterday, yeah, it was, I had no drop frames. I think it's just because I'm streaming at 30 FPS, so I'm not hogging bandwidth. But yeah, we're going to see if our plan is going to pan out. So that's going to hopefully, I can see that's not going to pan out there, so I have to use the middle slit. Oh, that's frustrating. Because it could bring it out like so. But Like I said, this is a trial fit, so we will see how we get on. Lone Star, how are you? Not too busy playing Destiny 2 Forsaken? Hello, the Surge. Are you getting on with the monitor that Rich sent you? You all set up now? You got your webcam sorted, keyboard sorted? Ooh. Vibrate everything. Tell you what, it's useful to have the Twitch app on the mobile phone to keep on track of everything. Absolutely knackered. I didn't realise how long the stream yesterday went, because when I looked, I got chatting away a little bit sidetracked to what I was supposed to be doing, or planning to do. And when I looked, that's my boy down there talking away. When I looked at the watch, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. Mike the dog, good evening, how are you? Can someone look at this? What have you got? Part picker. Okay. Give me a moment and I'll have a quick look for you. So, I'm going for a Ryzen build. Okay, so you've got a 2600K processor. Okay. Acer's budget board, micro ATX, 8 gigs of DDR4, 3000 megahertz, 250 SSD for I presume operating system, VGA 1060, so you're going for 1080p gaming, Thumbtack P400 tempered glass, yeah, EVGA bronze 600 watts, 24-inch 1080p monitor, 75 Hz, and you're going for a mini keyboard. Alright, so this is almost $950. So put that there. So Mike the dog, what's your question? So what you have here is a budget 1080p gaming PC, recommendations based on the board that you selected. Just make sure that the DDR4 frequency 3000 megahertz, your board can support that. You've gone for 600 watt power supply, which is fine, semi-modular, makes cable management easier. Okay, so yeah, decent system. 8 gigs is fine. I don't know what sort of games you play at, but it's probably worth looking at 2 8 gig modules instead of 2 4 gig modules. Lone Star, you're on Black Ops on PS4 at the moment. When Rich gets his, I'll start putting more time in the PC. Alright, okay. Well, I'm trying my best to get it done. Only started it yesterday, but need second storage, yeah. Unless he already has a drive, hence why he hasn't put it there. But mechanical hard drive, 1 to 2 terabyte. You can pick those up for around $50–60, depending on what brand you go for and the actual speed. But I'm assuming you haven't put a mouse there, so I presume you have a mouse. But but everything else, I'm assuming you're using the cooler that comes with the Ryzen 5 processor, because they haven't put a cooler on it. So, you know, unless you tell me, you know, any questions, that's my opinion. So yeah, all work fine. I've used that card, I've got that card that you listed. We've got several of those, and I've used one of those cards for a client build, which was for Andrew, that's on chat at the moment. So alright, cool. I just hope that this works, because if it doesn't, I'll have to change my plan. But I've got the same amount of space at the back, but we're going to be faced with the same problem. So, so you can actually see. So that's the plan, to mount it up there, so I can see that I need to drop it further down as far as I can, so it leaves a gap at the top, so I can actually fill the reservoir. It is going to be a very snug, very tight build, but that's what makes it fun, because you've got to come with solutions on how to get everything in. So, UK Ghost, how are we doing? Just started, so you haven't missed much. How are you? Thanks for joining me again. Okay, Mike the Dog. Oh, buying Black Friday. Okay, so you're going to get some bargains then. So good luck with your build, and I hope it brings lots of gaming entertainment. Can't put it too far down because, oh, that is snug. I gotta drop it further down. That is super snug. Wow. So this is one of the options, but I can see there might be a few issues already. One of them is routing the cable down there to come to the back to the inlet port. Coming out is fine, because that's just going across, but these ports are going to be blocked with a fan. So option, that was the option that I was hoping would be most favourable. The other option, again, it's the same type of plate, but it's flat, so could bring us closer. So, what have you been up to today, UK Ghost? The camera's alright, so you can actually see. Sorry for moving the camera, but I tried again today to set up the fourth camera, and I've got a mount on the ceiling. But for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's because I have 3 cameras of the same make and model, that OBS is confusing which one is which, and every time I'd select the correct one, it crashes OBS every time. So I've updated OBS, so that's working fine. So what I've done, I've ordered another camera. It's not going to go to waste, because I'll sell it if need be. Just see if that will sort the problem. But anyhow. So you're doing a bit of, what do you call it, home housekeeping, as they say. Now, I've been since this morning. Kids been to school. My missus very kindly took them, so I've had a bit of a lie-in. I normally get up at 5 in the morning pretty much every day. But then it's household number 2. So my brother was out with his personal assistant for independent living, and so get the shopping sorted, banking sorted like yourself, run some errands. But I'll tell you what, I'm not one to complain about the weather, but Jesus Christ, it was cold today. And up here, I don't mind being cold up here because I've got computers running and I've got 3 monitors that dissipate a lot of heat, so it keeps it warm. But I got to admit, pretty nippy, as they say. Andrew, what's the estimated time to install Red Dead Redemption 2 on a PS4? Because I believe it's a 2-disc for the disc versions, so it's a pretty big game. Hopefully the day 1 patch not going to be like 50 gigabytes like Black Ops 4, because the game was 50 gigabytes and then the day 1 patch was 50 gigabytes. It was like downloading the game twice. Trial fit number 2. Okay, so that's looking a bit more plausible. And so you can actually see what I'm doing. Yep. So that little bit of room has managed to move that. So I just need to move it slightly down, and I've got some room. So if I put it there. And that is as far as I can get. I certainly don't want it resting on the graphics card, just hovering above it. I do have movement on this, so I can move it slightly up, a little bit, but not much. But as long as I've got a gap there to fill, it's all good, because I'm installing a drain valve. We'll drop access to that. From the start, over an hour. Update 7 gigs. Okay. Can't wait for it to come out on PC. Well, yeah, that's gonna be a while. They didn't bring the first one on the PC, but the demand is there for the second one. But I think the consoles, and you know, I would love to play the game either on a console or on a PC. But it is what it is. So enjoy your gaming session. Right. So we might have to play with some fittings here to get the angles that we want. You can put the bracket and use some of the radiator screws that came with it. those. Oh. So if we take two from the top, use those. See if that fits. If not, then I have to rummage through my screw box, and I think they're too wide. At least you have your weekend planned out there, Andrew, because from what I heard, the campaign is at least 60-hour plus campaign. And plus we don't even have the online mode launched yet. Check this thread. So we need the size downwards. Yep. And your missus is away all weekend. So you're going to pull her all-nighter then? That should be as near as this. Yeah. Spot on. I'm sure they're threaded through. God knows how I'm going to fit my bloody banana hands at the back. So I might have to take that off. Okay. So we're going to take the top radiator off to give us access to mount the pump, then mount the pump, then the water block, then the fittings, then start mapping the tubing. That is the plan. I don't expect to be a long stream because I've got early start tomorrow. Got a few other bits to do with the family and whatnot. But if I can get pretty much the draft design that I've got in my mind and written down tested, then I can pull everything off and make sure I use plumber's tape on all the fittings and joints so no leaks. Then I'll do a final fit before I even start doing any cable management or anything like that. Because that's going to be the biggest challenge in this case, cable management. And I looked online today just to see how other people have tackled it, and most people either put a 240, 280 or 360 all-in-one cooler, and that's it. And if there is any custom water cooling, to stick to one radiator, and I can see why. But that's not challenging, is it? Well, that's what he looks like. Got a fitting ordered in black. Use that as a tester. The Lone Star. So you bought Red Dead. Okay. It's going to be a long time whether you see a copy on a PC. Nobody said anything about it. That's right. Well, I've got this off. I can take this fitting off. So you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm just going to try a different fitting. Give us the leeway that we need. Maybe. Not to stick up too much, just then they'll impede the fan. But maybe. We'll have to see. Find the screw. Andrew, I still haven't had a chance to pop into the post office and send that filter, which I've got there, to Pete. So I'll try and get that done tomorrow, because I've got a few errands to do in town. So hopefully you're still enjoying the PC that I built for him. I hope this slides up as it should, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be pissed. Too small. I mean, the filter doesn't stop using the PC, but it just eliminates some of the dust coming from the top. But wanted just to do it one side. Well, at least it'll have good news, it lines up. What I don't want to do now is cross thread the actual screw. There we go. I have to take the round sticks out. Yes, I do. So if anybody has any questions which is tech related, feel free to ask. It helps me pass the time when I'm talking about tech. Don't tell me that's the threads slightly different. Same diameter screw. If I had Chinese little hands, it'd make this job a lot easier. No disrespect. That's touching the fin slightly, so I might have to use a riser. Yeah. A couple of washes should do the trick. And that's why it's called a trial fit. Magnetic screwdrivers are saving. I called and restless. Watercooled, like Microsoft's cloud servers in the ocean? Well, not exactly. That's if I know about that. That's their 5-year maintenance-free cooling solution. Instead of paying to have a massive facility to water-cool their servers, they're just going to put it in a pod in the middle of the ocean. But no, this is not going to be a submerged PC, that's for sure. No, I can do it the other way around, actually. What we're trying to do is just create a little gap so the back screws do not touch. We need thicker washers, but if I can get the mapping done on the loops, then where's that screw just went? Oh. Where did he go? Right at the bottom. And another one. This is a good thing I've got plenty of spares. you'll understand why I'm going through this hassle. Once I can put the camera in there. Right, so you're wondering why I'm fiddling about with two screws. I'll bring that closer so you can actually see. Right at the back, you've got the two bolts holding the actual holders. I'm putting the washer to create a bit of a gap so the actual screws are not digging into the fin, so I don't have a freaking leak in the monitor. On the actual radiator, not the monitor. Go down. So, I'll put the fitting back on. I have to put it double fitting. To create length. Rotary fitting is the best invention that anybody did. So water cooling. Oh, look at that. Then we've got a gap there, that's going to go straight down to here. And we can move that the way we want. But this is fit, so we're going to put, or try to put the radiator and also while we got this off, we can put a 45-degree angle, which is going to go towards the CPU. I'm going to fit the CPU with a block, which is what I call a dry fit. So that's how it's been designed to go. That's the inlet, that's the outlet. As you can see, I've got a couple of options here. I could either, that's the outlet, I was going out, in, and from here it's going to go up. Or I can simply turn this like that and turn this the other way around to make it even shorter. So you have to play it by ear, really. Right. At the moment, with the wiring, I'm not really concerned about the wiring because this is coming off on and off several times. So I'll feed it through just to make it easier. Well, it's an interesting way to spend a Friday night. That's for sure. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. So hopefully I left enough of a gap to push it through. screw something yet. It'll definitely be a tidy build when it's all done. It's also got tempered glass side panel and front. It looks pretty smart. Right, that's a temporary fix. So I can get access to there to fill it in. That's not a problem. Created a gap so I can route the cable. It's going to be the return cable inwards. So this is just a temporary fixing at the back. And I can't really move. Well, this could either be a 45 or we can put in one of these, depending on the block it's going to go. So at the moment, just to play with the fittings. See, good, nice smooth. Fittings we're using are EKs, 19mm soft tubing fittings, just compression fittings, and then we're using a mixture of Barrow and XSPC. I can even put it, leave it as it is. I'm going to just do a dry fit on the water block. Just see. I have to see which hole. Normally is the middle, but there's just moves. There's no. Okay. Right, so I'm fully aware I'm not putting thermal paste on it yet. This is a dry fit, so before you mention you haven't put any thermal paste, don't panic. That's going to be interesting. Very interesting. These are some tight springs. Oh. definitely gonna need to install, take the motherboard out and install it properly, which is a bit of a bugger, but hey ho. But it is a nice copper, so it should work lovely. And you can see that. Yeah, there you go. You can't just use one or the other for the inlet. That's the inlet, and you can see the split which the water goes, and that's the outlet. So I'll double check. I'm not sure. That's a bit of a bugger. So that CPU into inlet, outlet's going to be straight here, so we could either use that's going to be too short. Going to need some sort of a riser, or reversal. Gotta make sure I've got enough space in the rear. So the option would be to extend it comes in the angle. So I've got a lot more fittings ordered for another build, and I've just added to the order a couple of black fittings, some extenders. So I'm just using this as a gauge. It sounds like my boy is almost coming to bed. Tell you what, the barrel fittings, the rotary, are more stiff than the UKs, that's for sure. Yeah, they're going to have a longer extension. That's going to, you can tell straight away, it's going to make an impact to the PC fan housing. So it's virtually less than like 2 mil, but that's the difference between having a loop that fits and doesn't. But there he is. How doing, my boy?
I'm gonna say night night.
Are you gonna say night night?
Yeah.
Right, I'm streaming at the moment, so you can say
say
hello to the Twitch.
hello.
Use this just for the time being. How are you getting in the idle hearers?
On my computer, on Mummy's phone.
Say again?
On my computer or on Mummy's phone.
Are you using separate accounts?
One account on my Mummy's phone and one account on my computer.
Right.
And I think I'm doing well on both. On my computer, I've got less 4 stars, but a 5-star normal.
Yeah.
But on Mummy's phone, I've got about 8 4 stars, but no 5 star. So I don't know which account is better.
Right.
Night night.
Alright, good dog.
That's good.
Come here. Alright, sleep well.
Okay.
Alright. Put yourself in bed. And don't get up too early, it's the weekend. You're allowed to have a lie-in, yeah?
I don't like lying.
You don't like lions, yeah. But the thing is, if you get up, Alexa's going to get up.
Then Mom's gonna get up, then you're gonna get
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I know. That's my boy. It's the weekend, so I can stay a little bit later.
I've been staying about 10.
Yeah, about 10. Yeah, I've been told. He does his own streaming. He's got his own little YouTube channel. So, he's no stranger to the internet. He's only 8. He's doing a lot better than me. So I'm just having a bit of a play with the fittings, just seeing what if my planned loop route is the most efficient, and if I have to change it. So with the graphics card, simple rule: whatever inlet you use, still some plumber's tape that I've used. So whatever on a single card, always use the opposite. So if you're entering here, don't put it there. Always go on the opposite. Unless you're using 2 cards, then you can do the same thing or use parallel. The reason I'm using this as the exit port is because the tube is going to go through there. See that? Right, so this here, it's going to be our drain, because of the space limitations that we have with this case. We can't really pick and choose where we put a drain valve, which I always recommend that you put the drain valve. It makes the job a lot easier. the liquid. Okay. Can't go too crazy tightening these fittings to the block because it's an acrylic block. Do another turn. Perfect, we can just turn it away. Right, one more fitting at the top. So that just leaves two fittings for CPU. He's going to be on the esports scene when he's older? No. I tell you what, he plays a lot of FPS games, the Roblox version of CSGO, and it's actually really good. But he's more on the fun side, so he likes to play leagues and all sorts. But he's at the moment just crazy for FIFA football, so he's playing a lot of FIFA, and he's kicked my ass many times, which I'm not ashamed to say, but he's just got the knack of scoring. Even if I tried to tackle and foul and whatever, he's just got the knack to score goals in FIFA. Well, I don't, because I either overpower my shots and put the wrong angle, and goalkeeper, it's like the best goalkeeper in the world, keeps saving everything. But right, so you can see, so how the loop is going to go. That's going inlet CPU, CPU outlet goes to the inlet of the 240, 240 is going to go to the inlet of the graphics card, come out on the outlet, that's going to go through here. I'm going to route it straight up and come back here, so I don't know if you can see my finger through there. No, you can't. See my finger wiggling? That's going to go on the inlet on the 360 and then come out on the outlet here, and that's the loop. So what do you guys think? Anything, if this was your build, would you do differently? Considering that I'm limited on choices, so this here, I'm going to have an extender about double that size in black. That's already been ordered, so this is going to come just past there, and same again, that is going to come just past the actual fan housing, so it's not going to stick out as much. That away. Go back. It was a good option. Just if I can actually mount this without have to take in the whole motherboard, just to test this size. I don't think I'm going to be able to, which is strange. got a long way to go. So this is an interesting bracket. The motherboard has got 3 screws holding the actual socket. 1, 2, 3. At the back has got a plate, a retainer plate. The alignment of the 3 screws line up to that. So, to get the bracket, it looks like I must just slightly undo the actual screws to tighten it to there. That holds it in place. Then I'll be able to screw it in. Because if I don't do that, it's creating a gap and the screws itself ain't gonna reach. That's why I was bothering but not making contact. What is it? Shouldn't do. And before anybody says, yes, it would be easier to do this while the board was out, but the board is coming out anyway. So, just one of those things. Right, what sort of clamping I'm gonna need? That's a 5-way. Size down. Oh, that's so bloody stiff. No. One more size down. Surely not. Yeah. Only needs about half a turn. Well, the gasket lines it perfectly. how far I'm planning to go tonight. Well, not as long as yesterday, that's for sure. But I want to get to the point where I'll get the tubing done, measured up and cut. That's why I wouldn't mind trying to get the block on, but if that's just 2 tubes, I can do without, and then I can take everything out and put the block on. But if I can get it measured up, then we'll be able to see what it's going to look like, or an idea. I might have to take the... yeah, I figured it out. This motherboard, the deluxe model, has got a retainer bracket. This will be replacing the retainer bracket. That's why it's not lining up. I'll show you what I mean. Most boards have that sunk in. That actually going to replace it, and I thought that it was going to go on top, but then I kept saying, how is the screws going to reach? No, it's going to replace it completely. So that's what we're going to do. What that means, I might have to take the CPU out. Definitely I'm going to undo it while it's spring loaded. This so you can actually see what I'm doing. See that? Yeah. Bracker's going to fall off from the back. There you go. Wash out of the magnetic. Lovely. It's still stuck on something. Right, move you back. gonna happen. But okay. Oh. Just supposed to get lined. Come on. You want to. Just a bit loose. Oh, look at the one. Yeah. You are a silly Billy. One of the top screws. Window is the same thread. Flat. These wires inside so the metal can be crushed. exercise, this. Where did he go? There we are. Okay, socket back in. Metal retention plate back. CPU. Right orientation. Triangle. Correct. Wow. Now I should be able to mount see that. And that should bite. 1, 2. Just going to be a loose fit. Come on, right, there we go. And you. 2. As long as it's slightly secure, that's what we want. Lovely. And now, so that's the inlet, that's the outlet. Put this in this position because that's how normally it's designed. You got your UK logo at the bottom. But I think to make the tubing route shorter with less bends, if that goes the other way round, we'll have the inlet virtually almost in parallel to here, and the outlet goes straight up at the top. But I just wanted to see what it looks like, see if I need to use any actual fittings itself, as in 45s or 35s. See it straight away. Because what I don't want is a crossover of cables. Excuse me. What I mean by that, if that's going to go there, just as an example, then you're going to have one going across, and I try to minimise that. So let's get those, test the two. Fitting, see what it looks like. With EK they always put the outlet a little bit nearer, but these should be centered. But the outlet is always nearer to the edge, so it's never fully centered. Can you see that? So that's not an option. Going across there, because then we'll be able to go across there. You can use an opposite. Give it a raise. But you can you see what I mean when it comes to the tubing? I know it's hard to imagine, but I've got some tubing here and you'll see what I mean. When I say I've got tubing, quite a fair bit, about 6 meters of it. If I cut this a bit, so I'm going to go to waste. Coming from here to the inlet, so this piece was too big, but just give you an idea. And then from there to there. Now that I could put a different fitting to bring it, instead of coming down, across and down. That's another option, so we can try that. Because we've got the fittings. So but I'm trying different combinations so to retain this on the right orientation. I mean, it doesn't affect the performance, it's just the EK logo is going to be upside down, because the easy solution is to turn that upside down and have that at the bottom and that at the top. But before I do that, I want to just see if there's any other way for retaining the orientation. I mean, I'm open to suggestions. Anybody on chat is actually paying attention, but you know, feel free to criticise or whatever. Do that. See, that would give me the extra height. couplers probably. If we can get another 45. Nice degree. Let's try it. There we go. That's possibly one solution. Almost aligned. Almost. So what do you think? You could do it like that, that's one option. Or turn the water block sideways so the inlet is at the bottom. So, like I said, at the moment nothing is fully fixed, but you can see that tubing go across to there, inlet there to there. I mean, the actual tubing that I'm using, you can get good solid bends. That'll be shorter, that's for sure. There we go. And then that one straight through. A bit angle. That's going to go straight through there. Hopefully I have space, which I do, to route the actual key, the actual tubing. If worst case scenario, the tubing that I'm using 19mm for the pipe from here to the connection at the back, I could always use a smaller fitting and just fit a smaller diameter tubing. But so we tried it like that. I'm not 100% happy with it, just because the way it looks. Plus it had the two unnecessary bends. The more bends you have on a watercooling loop, that will affect the flow. So the less bends that you have, the better. In some cases you have no choice, but here we have a choice. So we're going to try it. Another thing, the less connections that you have with rotary fittings, the less risk you have of a leak. So on, bite. You know you want to. There you go. So, with that, we can now put that to there, and then we could have even if we take that off, no. There you go. Wow, these are really stiff barrel. Damn. I don't know. That'd be in a slight angle, wouldn't it? Won't be symmetric, that's for sure. Have a secondary one, go straight up. Right. Sorry, why is this going off? No. Will they fit? Will they not? Hi Koala, how are you doing? The advantage we can guarantee that. And there you go. Straight down. in, out, in, just this one. Right. Just that only temporary. Boomf, boomf. And there you go. That's the idea. I wonder if I can use a T. Try and use a T. Use a, how we call it, Y fitting. That's the fitting I want. About that much length straight across. I can't use that because that's going to interfere with the rear fan. But it was worth a try. What are the specs? There you go, my friend. It's a 1080p gaming PC with a GTX 1070, i7 6700K, 16 gigs of DDR4 3000 MHz, 850 watt power supply on a Z170 platform. I don't have the right fitting. Well, I'm glad to think so. It's a budget gaming PC, so the budget is £1,000. So this is a mixture of new and used parts. Majority is new, only the motherboard, CPU and graphics card is used. But really a fan. Let's see how much space I actually got to take. We'll be doing the tubing next, but let's get the last fan in. be coffee time soon. Did I put the screws out? Hopefully I'll have that. Stick the wiring through. Oh, blimey. Very narrow. I'm going to trial fit this fan to see how much spacing I actually have. And that's 6 fans altogether. Ooh. Okay. Everything is like within half an inch. Pretty much. But the good news is the front is going to look really neat because it's hardly going to see any of the cables up at the front. Right. Very good. You want to. Perfect. Wow. Okay, so we've got movement where we can put the fan and put it as low as we can, or as high. So we'll just temporarily fix that in place. These are massive. Right, so we can drop the fan as low as here, if you can see that. So, can you see now, firstly the space that I have, I can't move this back because I need that little bit of an inch so I can actually fill the system. Once that's filled, shouldn't be a problem putting the actual cap back on. Excuse me. We can put it all the way to the top, which I think it looks nasty. Actually looks better, in my opinion, at the bottom. What do you guys think? So we've got 6 fans altogether. 3 at the front. 2 at the top. And 1 in the rear. So now I've got a fan in place. You see the reason why I won't be able to use that. Let's use that. Too close. So that what I need is the fitting that I had, which is first is going to be about that long in black. I can't use this unfortunately because it doesn't have a female side, so what it wants is male and female. Just temporarily. This one. Which I can't. Well, glad you think so, UK Ghost. But it is frustrating that, you know, as much as you can plan ahead, until you put your design into a case, I'm one fitting short of having the right amount of pieces to actually complete the loop. So I'm just actually trying to come up with something on the right height that will give me an indication. But what it means is just this piece here that just needs cutting. It is too short. That is what I want. There's always a fitting somewhere that I could possibly utilise. just to extend that. That'll give me the oh, how frustrating. So it looks like I have to use this to gauge. And I'm going to start cutting the actual loop itself. I always keep old fittings because you just never know when you're going to actually need them. If I can see that, that is the space I've got to play with. Really? Turn. So if I take this fan out. Right, after this I'm going to get a coffee and then come back, measure up and start cutting the tubing for the first trial fit of the tubing, see what the loop looks like, see if I need to make any changes. I think we're pretty much there on the design. 90% is just one tube that I'm concerned about. It's going to be running at the back. But until we cut it and see what that looks like, we won't know. Till then. So. that's going to be covered up. Last fitting. That's fine. So you've got matte black and you've got like gunmetal grey. So under the light they almost look nice little angle. Too much pressure, but I tell you what, right. It's time for a coffee. Tidy some of the stuff away. That's done. Caps. Rubbish. These 4 screws. It's for the top, so I can put these now so they won't get missing. Needs a bit of a nudge. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Lovely. Don't need that yet as such. This is going to be a red and black build. I used to have loads of this tubing, and what's good about this tubing is UV reactive, so it's a shame, because if it was a black and white then that would be pretty cool. Here there's a UV light. I'll switch up the lights to be able to see. That'll look pretty cool. So you won't be able to see the liquid, but if you got UV lighting, it'll glow down in the dark. Alright. Got some almost black and red. That's what we'll do. Right, I'm going for a coffee. When we come back, we're going to be cutting up tubing. And we're actually going to see what he looks like. Alright, so if you don't mind, I have to give a shout out to some people at work because I told them I was going to be streaming. So, big shout out to Marcin Nowachain, our fellow colleague from Poland. Hello, SBroom04. I'm doing very well. How are you? Welcome to the stream. So, shout out to Phil, Paul Crump, Little Rich, Big Rich known as Coco, Alice, and Nige, all the crew at Bentley Motors, working hard away, building seats. Right, so we're going to start building the Ashel loop. So what brings you here, SBroom? Interested in PCs, gaming? Oh, so you're sort of new to PC building. Okay, well, everybody's got to start somewhere. So you're planning to build your own PC or just looking around? What's your story? Oh, good man. You got a link. PC part picker. Let's bring that up and have a quick gander. Well, a PC that I'm building for a client. That's what we're building over the next couple of days. Let's have a look at what you're building. Ah, nice. 2700X Ryzen i7 strict board, excellent board. Big fan of ASUS. 16 gigs of DDR4, 3000. Yeah, your board supports that. It supports higher than that. Solid state hard drive, 500 gigabytes. Very good. Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte. I presume that's for your storage. I would probably go with 2 because 1 terabyte will fill pretty quickly. GTX 1080, solid card for 1440p gaming. A excellent case, fractal design, very good. I'm not a big fan of the mesh at the front. I've got a fractal design. You see the R5 just at the back. Gold certified, power supply, bit of a kill. 750 watts. Are you planning to go SLI in the future or something? If that's the case, then yeah. And of course RGB fans, LLs, 120s. Okay. Good fans, expensive for what they are. What are you presume? Are you using the Ryzen 7 cooler? Because on your processor that comes with it, because you've not listed a separate aftermarket cooler. Okay, that's a solid build. 2700X, solid processor. What sort of gaming do you do? what games is in your interest, because if it's FPS, an Intel system will probably give you a few more frames per second, but can't argue with the AMD for value. Just over $300. Excellent. You compare that to the latest, well, refresh, I call a refresh from Intel, the 9900K, which is almost double that price, and performance within 12%. So plan to buy a cooler in the future. All right. Yeah, Fortnite. Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. What monitor are you planning to use? As in resolution, 1080p, 1440p, because your graphics card is a solid 1440p card. That's where sweet spot is. If you're going 1080p, especially overkill really, but at least you can run it max settings across everything, ultra. So you've got the RGB going on the cooler, RGB on the RAM, and RGB fans. So a bit of a lover of RGB. Yeah, man, it's no rush. So you planning to build it yourself? Is somebody else going to build it for you, or? What made you choose AMD over Intel, if you don't mind me asking, S. Broom? Okay, so you're going 1080p monitor. Yeah. 22 inch. Alright. I mean, for that money, $126, you probably could push it to 24 inch. I would assume that parts are cheaper in the US, but I'm going to send you a link of a monitor. It's 1080p, but it's an IPS. Okay. I would say for an extra $30 on the monitor, you'd be able to get a 27-inch for 1080p. If you go 1440p, which is the sweet spot for your card, really. I've built quite a few PCs with GTX 1080s. It's a bit wasted on the 1080p, but again, it's a personal choice. So, and budget. So you got one of your friends that builds and he wants to help. Brilliant. The only thing I recommend is it's your PC, and if you're there on the build, you get to learn every stage of it. So when there's a problem, you'll know your PC inside out. That was the best way to learn. Build it yourself. A lot of people said it's cheaper and there's only a tiny difference. A tiny difference from 1080p to 1440p. On the performance, AMD compared to the i7. Well, it depends on what games. The games that you mention, Fortnite, yeah, hardly any difference. You're talking like 10-15%. But when you go to games like Siege, because it's more FPS, graphical demanding game, and more CPU bound games, the i7s, there could be the 6700K that I'm using, 7700K, 8700K, and I won't go any further than that one. They will give more performance, but at 1080p, unless you're going for 144 Hertz, there's no need. So your system is spot on. So good choice of components, solid motherboard, very good. Your RAM, spot on. I tell you what, the RAM prices in the United States are a lot cheaper compared to the UK, because if we were to get this kit here in the UK, I'm just gonna Google it. I'll just give you the actual price. That UK look for. So in the UK is $218 for the same kit that you're getting. Where are we? Yeah. So it's $70 more in the UK. So you're lucky. What can I say? Right, I'm going to crack on and get this tubed up, mocked. But thanks for popping in, and thanks for sharing your build. I hope it goes well and you have many happy hours of PC gaming. All right. Okie dokie. You can see that. So, the tubing you're going to be using is Mayhem's Ultra Clear 19mm. And it's transparent, so the liquid we're also going to be using is Mayhem's UV Red, because the customer requested a black dash red themed. I've got a splash of white on the motherboard just to break. How much would it be to build that one that you are building? Well, this, because I'm using a mixture of new and used parts. So the motherboard, CPU and graphics cards I use, everything else is brand new. In UK, just under £1,000. So if I convert that, $1,283. So it's actually a couple of $100 cheaper than what you are building, and it's fully water cooled as well. But not everybody can do this type of builds at the price that I charge. So right, we're going to go there to there. So the first thing we need to do, I'm going to get an Allen key. things. Nope. I left my bigger Allen keys in the shed. But actually, before I do the tube, I'm going to get a picture of this for social media. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. The actual cutting, I tend to use this just by, I've got a silicone rubber insert for hard tubing that I tend to use, but I left it in the shed. So, as this is not the final cut as such, I'm going to see what it looks like first. So that's the plan for the stream, and just finish off the loop. Once the loop is finished, then for possibly the next stream we're going to start doing the wiring up. But all the parts have already been tested, graphics card been tested. That's going to be a hard one to get to, but I'll deal with that. That's the last one that I'll do. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Measured up. I always cut about half a centimetre more than I need on any cut. It's easy to just trim a little bit. Don't have to cut and waste. It's fully flat. I love working with soft tubing, and the main reason is because it's so easy to work with, plus it's more robust when it comes to leaks. Oh, small fingers will come in handy now. Because I have this curled up, you can see that it's slightly kinked, but we've got a heat gun on that, we'll soften that up. So, the next one will be there to there. Oh, that's snug. Wow. Everything with this case been snug. Cut. No, I don't. No, tiny. What should we talking? Ooh, almost. A little bit bigger than that. About there. How's that for a guess? I don't know if you can see though. thought too short. Yeah, looks like it. Alright, I'm getting too cocky. A bit more than that. There we go. So if anybody has any questions in regards to any computer tech, let me know. I like to ramble on. Not tightening these fully, just enough. Just enough so that at least this straight. Yep, that again. Oh no. That was right. I mean, that is so tight. 19mm fittings by UK. That's not quite right there. There we go. Oh, that's taking shape, isn't it? What do you guys think? Short. A very short loop, so this one is that I'm not 100% sure. And I shall route it straight through there. Or I could angle it and bow, turn. And that's got to come out. And then the other side. And I think I might have to put some sort of a riser there. Take this off, make it easy to access. I wish I had my outlet key, I really wish. So, I'm going to feed it through. What I'm going to need from there. Let's feed it through. We'll find out. Well, that's one possibility. Well, something's not gonna kink, is it? I'm still looking at other possibilities for this last run. Just because you're not going to be able to see this. Oh, the cable management. Just the concern is this here. When you're putting the panelling in, and considering that we've got all this wiring to sort out, that it's the tubing diameter is the width is too big. So possible solution would be these two last fittings would go down a size from 19 to 16 and put this final piece of tubing at 16. So 3mm might not sound like a lot, but to definitely be able to close the back of the case with the cable management sorted easily. Now the roots, there is a gap there. There we go. Possible solution just has been found. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, maybe. But in between the fan, there's a space all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. So if we were to route instead through the grommet but to the side, and I didn't even notice this before, there is space. Let's go measure. Look at that. It'll be a tight bend, but I'll put my finger on it so you can actually see. That's not too shabby. I think we just found our solution. And that's going to save me a lot of hassle. For the cable management. That was one thing that was worrying me. So come on, let go. I want to. Tell you what, once these are on, even without the fitting being fitted, they're solid. There we go. Through these wires all the way up, and of course it would make it easier if the radiator was in there, but you couldn't ask for it. Really couldn't. swoop. That's a possibility. That's going to be see what that looks like. Make a modification on that to be able to fit it. I've got the hard drive cage on the other side, so the other idea was possibly going through under, but that's not going to be possible. That would be really smart. Drive bay at the bottom, squeeze it through there. That won't be possible. So original plan going through, second plan of bowing, but I'm not liking that. Any ideas? Right, I'm going to do this last run and call it tonight, really. So I can come up with a separate solution. Follow the line of the graphics card. But if it dropped, I don't want to drop it. That looks like it's stretched, so. This. This one's not. Not floating, just not floating like a boat. Everything else is. Bit of pressure there, but we can cut that down. Because of the fitting, most likely. I'm going to recut this piece just because it's got a bit of a bend on it. Just because it's been coiled. Boom, cameras, focus, boom, focus. An extra 1/4 inch. Actually, it's a bit smaller than I expected. Getting tired now, that's fine. Better. I can live with that. There we are. One pack complete. Not too much waste. going to call it a night on the stream. Alright, the loop is done. So what do you think? Okay. So that is the primary first draft of the loop. Hopefully that was informative for anybody, but if you look up this case, you're not going to see a lot of builds that's got a 360mm and a 240 or a 280 in this case, and that's the reason why, because you got very limited options. But with a bit of know-how, yeah, you can fit it. 6 fans in there, pump just hovering over the graphics card, and yeah, a really short loop. And we also put a drain valve as well. Not the ideal location, but at least we have a drain valve. Nice and easy for the customer to drain the system, just on the port or the graphics card. Turn this down. So the next steps is, now that we've done the trial fit, is basically break everything off completely and do a final fit, and start connecting the power supply and start routing all the cables for the final position. We're not going to do the cable management fully, we're just going to virtually connect everything up: the motherboard, the 24 pin, the 8 pin, graphics card power, install a solid state hard drive, and the storage 2TB hard drive, and then of course I've got to put the thermal paste on the block because it's just a trial fit. Then once the wiring is all through the back, then I'm going to install a Fantech fan hub to connect all the 6 fans to just one wire to the motherboard. So it's a self-powered SATA powered fan hub, so it's not going to drain all the power from the board. The wire that's going to the board is just going to recognize the RPM, so then we can use the ASUS II Suite 3 to control all the 6 fans via one 4-pin PWM header. Second to that, the pump, again that's SATA powered, and that's going to go to the optional CPU fan header. So the actual pump itself can be thermally controlled, so as the temperature rises, so instead of having the pump running at full speed all the time when you got the PC running, what this will allow us is to run the pump super quiet when there's no load on the graphics card and the CPU, and as temperature rises with the load, so will the flow. So like that, you got a super quiet system without sacrificing performance, because of course when your PC, when you're browsing the internet, your graphics card is doing nothing, your CPU is hardly doing anything. So do you really need that 3.2 meter head pressure going through your system, additional noise? I made the system water-cooled to minimize noise, because I could have simply put a GTX 1070 air-cooled like I did to Rich, one of my clients, and a 240 or 280 all-in-one cooler to cool the GPU. But again, use the same case. The other one was white, this one is black. Same spec systems. Okay, i7-6600K, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM with a GTX 1070. So it's virtually performance identical, except it's water cooled. So, and all under £1,000. So, if anybody can actually build this on the same specs under £1,000, I'll be very surprised. And we also have the original build, where we're going to put a 650 watt power supply, which will be sufficient for this, but to just future-proof it a little bit for the client. If on a future you want to add another graphics card or change the processor or try and change the existing graphics card, then we're going to put an 850 watt power supply, gold tier, super quiet. It's of course a RM. RM 850, which I've used on other builds. I've used a 1000 watts version of it as well. My system actually have that, and I had my system now for 3.5 years, and it's super quiet, never failed me. 10 years warranty. What more can you ask? I'm getting notifications right, left and centre. Okay, so Twitch is telling me achievements. Okay, fair enough. Thanks. So yeah, so once we've done connected everything up, we're gonna first of all get a secondary power supply. So once we have everything, all the fittings will be using a PETG plumber's tape around the threads, every single one of them. Okay, so for whatever reason the actual fitting fails, at least it's not coming from the actual connection itself, especially when you're using acrylic. The MSI Seahawk EKX has it's a nickel water block, but the actual connections over here is made of acrylic. So if you over tighten, it will crack. You know, you put hot water on acrylic, it will crack. So this is a way for me to ensure that I got 100% seal on the inlet and outlet and not over tighten. Will be, first of all, the first fill of the system will be just using distilled water. We're going to be virtually running a leak test, and we're going to see if everything is working fine. Then we're going to flush that out. We're going to flush the system completely before we actually put our final coolant, which is going to be the Mayhem's UV X1 Red. The tubing itself is UV reactive. It's transparent. I got it from Overclockers. I'm going to see if I can demonstrate for you, because the fans are RGB. They've got violet. We haven't got UV, but we're going to see if we can demonstrate it here. You might not see it on the camera, but I can see a bit of a glow on the actual tubing itself. But quite hard to show in the actual camera. But once we have red fluid going through it, I think it's going to look alright. It'll be a nice system. So, I think I'm going to call it a night for the stream. So for the people that joined, thanks very much. I do not know when the next stream is going to be at, because I've got quite a full plate on the coming days. So it could be, it's not going to be the weekend, that's for sure. It's been interesting. I didn't expect it to go on for so long. I think the first stream was 4 hours, and this one is, I don't even know what time it is. So it's coming to midnight already. And I've got to go up early tomorrow as well. But I am glad that there isn't a super tight deadline for this build. So it gives me the opportunity to just do bits as I can. So as you can see, over the period of a couple of hours, we can build a loop. I think yesterday I did deviate a lot from everything that we were talking about, just because I was answering questions, and I like doing that anyway. So turn music off. So, Richie, I don't know if you're watching the stream or you've fallen asleep again, but I hope that you're happy with the progress of your PC. If you're not, let me know. If you want anything changing, let me know. But I'm looking forward to seeing this up and running and see how it performs. I know how it will perform, because it's going to be identical performance to your mate's Rich. Sorry, Pete. But the overclocking potential is there, if you're interested in that, and the silent operation is there. It's going to be a cracking gaming PC. So there's only 2 fittings that I'm waiting for, which I will replace. Going to be replacing possibly this, and then at the back using a nickel extension, which will replace. So it will be all black all the way through. So there's not going to be any mix and match. Yeah, looking good. So I'm going to end the stream. Thanks very much for everybody that turned up and asked questions. The next stream will probably most likely be midweek, and it's going to be in hour slots, just because I get up at 5 AM, so I can't stay up late. A job that I have, I've got to be fully concentrated, because if I mess up my job, I can kill somebody. So yeah. Oh, I am stiff. So most likely it would be midweek, either a Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll probably be doing work on it off stream, but I will explain anything that I do off stream on the next stream. Alright, so thanks very much, and have a good night. Awesome. Right. Take care, everybody. Good night.